Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today Alan Burial is here to share some thrilling tales. I just ran into a boyfriend who tried to jump out of the window, and my eager partner has been totally duped. The suspect has been caught, and although Carl is a bit tense, he's on the ball and asks the federal guy Frank for ID. Of course Frank isn't worried, he confidently pulls out his wallet, but just as Carl is about to peek, Frank suddenly tells him to look out the window and lies that those two people are his colleagues and the suspect, but they are just neighbors. To everyone's surprise, Carl believes it. However, Frank isn't in a hurry to leave and starts checking Carl's credentials. At this point, Carl is totally convinced that Frank is one of his own. Finally, Frank grabs the props and struts out like he owns them. But suddenly, hold on a second, don't forget about the handbag. I trust y'all hold on to it. Later, Carl sits on his bed, feeling accomplished for cracking the big case. But soon he realizes something is off when he opens the wallet only to find it filled with fake money logos. He realizes he's been duped. He helplessly looks to the window, only to watch Frank slip away right under his nose. What a show! Unexpectedly, when he returns to the hotel, he runs into a stunning beauty who surprisingly quotes him $1,000. Frank doesn't hesitate to agree and pretends to head down to change money. Amazingly, the beauty takes the bait, fearing Frank will run off, and quickly calls him back. What happens next is pure genius. Frank collects all the fake bills and pulls out just the one with $1,400. You can guess what happens next. Frank tearfully accepts the $400, reluctantly planting a kiss on the beauty. Soon enough, news of an airborne bandit spreads across various airlines. Frank disguises himself as a reporter once more, conducting an interview with the licensing scripture from Airlo Times. Some are unwittingly caught in the news, and a new headline of lies appears in today's papers. Little do they know, that crazy guy is right in front of them. Frank realizes the pilots are done for, so on Christmas Eve he calls Carl to apologize for the earlier hotel mix-up. He also informs Carl that he's at room 311 at the Amara Hotel and hopes they can chat. Obviously, after having been duped once, Carl is certainly not going to fall for it again. Carl vows to catch him, no matter what. Frank is about to hang up when Carl sees right through his goal. Ultimately, Frank hangs up, and Carl scores a win. It's like a Christmas special. This time, Frank isn't lying, he really is in room 3133. After this, Frank gives up his pilot career and moves down to Georgia. He starts living the invisible millionaire life. But one day, he visits a hospital and the stunning nurse at the front desk catches his eye. Love at first sight. He quickly hatches a bold plan to pretend he's a doctor. He snips a badge, sticks it on, and writes out some fancy text. In the end, he graduates from Harvard Medical School. The irony makes for an amusing twist. The hospital's director is none the wiser and happily hires Frank, not realizing it's his first day as chief physician. Of course, Frank isn't there to earn money, he's there to foster a closer relationship with Nurse Brenda. From the first moment he laid eyes on her, he fell head over heels. Brenda feels the spark too. But trouble soon follows when an emergency patient arrives late at night, turning chaos into a shopping cart. Just how will our counterfeit doctor manage to handle this situation? He stays cool, calmly asking the interns nearby for help. The interns cherish the moment, clueless that their chief, Frank, is nervously throwing up in the rest. From that moment onwards, Frank realizes that the profession of being a doctor is extremely high risk. He decides to change careers, just as Brenda's dad is a big shot lawyer. Frank lies and claims to be a dual-degree genius in law and medicine. When asked where he graduated, he casually mentions Berkeley. Brenda and her mom are stunned because Dad is also a law school grad. But Dad seems to have little trust in him and asks rhetorically, how can you possibly force a dog to throw up? I'm sorry, the dog has just vomited, unfortunately. Shockingly, they actually believe him. With the assistance of Brenda's dad, Frank successfully snagged another lawyer job. His work strategy: watching tons of court videos at night and mimic them during the day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank's evidence, indicating that he's actually lying. But clearly, he got the wrong venue. There's no defendant or jury today. What's going on here? In the evening, Frank joins them for a game, watching the happy family, slowly reminiscing about his own family. In that precise moment, he decides that he wants to marry Brenda. And from then on, he vows to stop his counterfeiting ways. Meanwhile, Carl tracks down Frank's dad through a Czech name. But how could it ever be possible for a dad to rat out his own son? Regardless of how much Carl tries to persuade him, he remains tight-lipped about any information concerning Frank. Just as Carl is preparing to leave, he unexpectedly stumbles upon a letter sent by Frank. The police promptly zero in on a specific hotel, but when they arrive at the room, Frank has long vacated the premises, leaving no trace behind. Carl stares at a medical diploma on the wall, realizing Frank has switched careers. So he heads to the hospital, unaware that Frank has taken on yet another job. All that remains at the scene is the printer. Carl has missed his target again, gaining nothing. One day, Frank finds his dad, invites him to his wedding, claiming he's turning over a new leaf. However, his dad disapproves, and Frank is taken by surprise after all these years.